This is the Talkshow with Vic, aka Mr. Never Chillin, and I'm here today on episode 11 with a familiar face to the chill zone. Of course, we got Johnathan Diaz, aka Jaydee himself.
Thank you for having me on the show. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Yes, sir. Thanks for coming back and joining with me today. If you don't mind introducing yourself to the community who may not know who you are, like what do you do for a living, any like games and fun facts and stuff like that.
Of course. Well, my real name is Jonathan Diaz, but I go by the name JD. Um, a fun fact, I don't know. I'm a pretty normal guy. I guess that's a fun fact, for someone who's so extravagant on stream. I live a pretty normal life. I got a wife and kids. Shout out to my family. I think they're watching now. So I guess the fun fact is that as crazy as I look on stream, I'm actually a pretty normal person.
Well, that's good. That's good. But I mean, honestly, a fun fact on you, man. You a streamer for those who don't know. So like they being a gamer, man, that's huge. That's definitely
Yeah,
huge.
content creator, streamer, all of that. I try to do a little bit of everything. I've done podcasting. I've created music videos, all types of graphic designs. So yeah, I do a little bit of everything. A little bit of everything.
Exactly. Yeah. This is JD Productions here, man. Shout out for all the logos, all the logos.
Thank you, thank you.
But yeah, man. Let's get into the reason why we're here today. We're gonna start off with our first segment. We're gonna be talking about growing up in the inner city of Harrisburg. I know
That's
it's
right.
not easy. So tell me about your journey, man. Like growing up and living in Harrisburg.
Living in Harrisburg. I mean, like, where do I start, man? First and foremost, Harrisburg is a beautiful place. I love where I'm from. But growing up in inner city Harrisburg and what people would deem as the ghetto or the hood, it comes with unique challenges. So being around negativity all the time can always bring someone's soul down. So I try to focus on the positive only. So growing up in Harrisburg, I honestly had a pretty easy route. Honestly, I kind of stood out the way. I never really got into the street stuff as easy as it was. I knew people who were doing things, doing crazy stuff, but I always try to stay on the straight and narrow. I was always a little bit different in that aspect. I know people who did certain things and have done some crazy stuff, but I always kind of stood out the way. So for me, living in inner city Harrisburg, I had a very different experience than what other people might deem. For me, it was a little bit more simple. I was friends with everybody. I got along with everybody, stood out the trouble, stood out the way, and kept pushing.
Right, right. Um, did like you or your family like go through any struggles, and if so, how did you guys overcome them?
My mother and father, when I was real young, they did a little bit of jail time. But they got home pretty quick. Me and my brother, we kind of stuck it out. My brother raised me and my aunt. And that was like a challenge. The older I got, the more it never really affected me to the point, you know what I'm saying? Like for me, I've always been different that I understand human beings. I understand that people make mistakes. So for some people, it might have weighed on them, and you hear this story a lot. I'm not the only person that's been through this, you know what I'm saying? So there's always two sides to every single story. So for a lot of people, when their parents are in jail and things, they fall to the street life and it's so easy. For me, I kind of took it a different route. I always looked at them and they always told me this is not what you want to do. So they realized that they messed up, and they always instilled into my brain, you have to do different.
Right.
So for me, it was challenging, obviously, because growing up, with your brother is always going to be a little bit challenging,
Hmm.
but he taught me certain things also. So I would say it was less of a challenge because I know the question is, what are some challenges that you and your family have been through in inner city Harrisburg? I would say it's less of a challenge and more of a lesson. The lessons that I've learned going through that type of stuff was to always just push through. Like adversity is going to happen. You know what I'm saying? Things are going to happen. People are going to make mistakes in your life, and you can always forgive them, and you can always learn from experiences. It's never I'm gonna do the terrible things that I could have done because I want their attention. People say I always wanted my father's attention. I wanted my mother's attention, so I'm doing these bad things in the street because I'm trying to, you feel envious of them. You feel you got to get back at them. I never felt that way, and I stood on the straight and narrow. So again, I know the question is more about challenges, but I would say I learned more lessons than had challenges.
Right. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. I mean, personally, like, I think I felt like I had the complete opposite. Like, I had both parents in my life and not really had to struggle with that. So, but I was born and raised in Stilton, so I mean, that's damn near Harrisburg. It was just as
Close,
bad
very
and
close.
stuff like that too. But it's just like you said, you got to pull together too with like family and friends and just find ways to get through it instead of just falling to the streets, getting in trouble and stuff like that. But in the same sense, like what you were just saying though, is like some kids or some people would start doing the bad shit for attention, whether it's from their parents or from their friends and stuff. It should never come down to that. Like if especially for a parent, like if you're trying to get attention from your parent, you shouldn't be doing these kind of things to get that attention. That attention should already be there from the jump, you know. So
I
like
agree.
I
I
really
agree.
couldn't imagine that. But like friends, you eventually get to that point where if you got to fight for attention from a friend, they ain't your friend. It's time to move on to
Definitely not.
it's time to move on to a new circle or shrink the circle, whatever you got to do. So like you said, it's definitely been a lot of lessons learned from even from me not going through not nearly what you've been through, and even a lot of other people that's been through even some shit that's worse, being like homeless and all that other stuff. So
And I mean,
I
there's
would say
kids
I'm
like that.
lucky.
You know, I worked in the school district, and I've had some kids who are homeless, and they're some of the happiest kids ever. So again, I think every human's different. And you know, for you, like you said, you have both parents in your life. And some people will look at that and say, well, you're lucky.
Yeah,
But you know, you also had your own challenges,
right.
even though both parents are in your life.
Yeah,
You know, some people don't realize, oh, because you do have both parents in your life consistently, that comes with unique challenges also, because again, nobody's perfect.
no, exactly. I mean, having both my parents in my life, they ended up getting a divorce when I was 14, and that hits differently when you've had your parents around, like your family connected for 14 years of your life, and the next you know, like it's in shambles. You're like, well, damn, like I miss my dad or I miss my mom, like whoever you're with at the time, and then like
Yep.
holidays don't feel the same no more. Like I don't want to have two of everything. I want to have just one big thing, you know. So
That's
like
right.
that definitely hits hard, and even hits me hard today. Christmas is one of my where I hate Christmas because of it, you know. So like though I've dealt with mental health issues that sprang from this, but I did what I had to do, and here I am. I'm still doing good. I'm still strong. I got to get through my issues, but everybody lives life differently, man. It's everybody will go through something. Nobody's the same.
That's right. That's right. Nobody. That's right, bro. And you know, I'm so happy to hear that you got through that, because there's so many people who take again a different route. You hear a lot about suicides and things of that nature nowadays due to depression. People feel like they don't have anybody to speak to. So you know, we're two examples of people who have two different lives, but also went through some adversity, and we're okay and we're kicking it. You know what I'm saying? You can always turn a positive, or excuse me, you can always turn a negative into a positive. So don't ever feel alone. Don't ever feel like you're by yourself. People, everybody has been through stuff. Everybody. No, like there's not a single person in this entire planet that had a perfect life. Like that's impossible. Even the richest of the millionaires have their issues and have had a rough upbringing somehow. Everybody goes through stuff. You're never alone.
Yeah,
Never.
exactly. It's just all about handling it and then getting through it. Like the ones that don't get through it are the ones who do commit suicide, do get killed in the streets selling drugs and whatever it is. Like there are people that don't make it. So it's just all about making the right decisions or the best possible decision you can make. And if not, ask questions, man. Seek help. It's
That's right.
okay, both men and women. It's okay to ask for help,
Hmm.
guys. Like I've talked about before in other episodes. It's okay for guys to ask for help. Like the whole stigma that oh, guys have to be strong. They can't ask for help. It's the whole pride thing. Like J
Yep.
Cole's song "Pride." What is it? Pride is the devil. Or yeah.
Pride is the devil. Yep.
That was a part like prime example. 100% accurate.
Right. Right. And I agree with that. It's like the idea that men have to be strong is so like misconstrued. Asking for help is the strongest thing you can do,
Right.
because again, like you mentioned, your pride gets in the way. So you're like, oh, ain't nothing wrong with me.
I
I
can
don't
do
need help.
this.
I'm good. I could do this by myself. And while that might be true for a little bit, you know, no one ever does anything by themselves. It always takes a team. Always. And you can always use help. It could be one person, it could be a freaking dog, you know, it could be a
Right.
cat. You know, people feel attached to anything. You got to find what works for you, and it's not always one and the same, and it's not always simple, but there is something out there that'll get you out of this funk and get you into the right frame of mind to where you change your life for the better. There's
Right.
stories like that everywhere.
Exactly. But circling back though to the inner city of Harrisburg, like it's been a really bad place. Like the living the quality of life and living, it has and will be for the foreseeable future pretty bad. But it needs to
Yes,
change, and it's got to start with something. Like how
I agree.
what are some ideas you think, like maybe the people higher up and like in charge that are basically our government, how can they like help out these people?
Well, for me, it's always rough to talk about politics. Well, it's not really politics, but it's tough to talk about government and stuff because I
Hmm.
just don't follow most of them because I always feel like they're not really on our side.
It's all
I'm
about
always
money.
big on. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I say it's all about money. That's what it is.
Well, of course, but that's a different conversation for a different day. But what I'll say is how I think that we can get better is just by coming together as a community. I think that there's a spotlight on Harrisburg between Micah Parsons and Shady, and there's so many
Hmm.
different people that come out of Harrisburg that are repping Harrisburg proudly. There's a spotlight on us now, and I feel it. And we are the capital of Pennsylvania, and we have to act like it. And what I'm seeing between, you know, I don't want to say rappers, I'll say artists, and entrepreneurs in our city that are starting to come up. They're starting to throw more things for children, showing people that they can be trusted, that we care. So there's a lot of people in Harrisburg who have a name for themselves. I would say that. And those people need to step up and start to put stuff together for the community and show that it could be positive because it's starting to get there and I feel it. I feel
Hmm.
it and it's starting to happen. There's a lot of things happening in Harrisburg that people will choose to nitpick and not show it, but the people who are connected to the city see it. Just this weekend, or last weekend, excuse me, just last weekend, a friend of mine, Kevin, he was out doing stuff for the community and he had like jump houses and bunch of stuff set up. It was all free,
Hmm.
cookout, everything, free food, doesn't matter. I've done things for the homeless. I
Hmm.
have a organization that I haven't really touched in a long time, but I have a nonprofit organization, and we got together and fed the homeless here in Harrisburg. Those things bring community together.
Yeah.
It's less about what is the government going to do for us because history will show
Are you pulling the
nothing.
JFK? Are you pulling the JFK card on me?
Nothing. So what are we going to do for ourselves? How are we
Right.
going to power ourselves and our community? So I would say how to get it better. It starts with the community and having people who have this name or somebody that people respect in Harrisburg. We have to start stepping up our game and start helping the community. And then a
Hmm.
lot of trust will start to be built. And then we can start to get the city back on track to where it needs to be.
Right, yeah. Yeah, I definitely agree. I feel like there's been a lot of good businesses too that have been growing, like local businesses that are growing. Like even
That's
that
right.
new coffee bookstore cafe or whatever in Harrisburg. Like I want to go
Yes.
check that out.
Yeah.
I forget exactly what it's called. That's definitely my
Mhm.
apologies, but I want to
I know
check
what you're
that
talking
out.
about, though. Yes.
It's just like there is a lot of artists, man. There's a lot of artists in this area that are really good, that are up and coming. Even that one chick that went viral like nationwide. I forget her name too. I'm terrible at remembering people's names,
Um,
but
she's younger. She's younger, but I know
yeah,
who you're talking about.
yeah,
She's
like
really big, and we
yeah.
got Fatty Sat. He's from inner city Harrisburg. He has almost a million followers on TikTok,
Hmm.
and he's doing stuff for the community himself. Between him, Loud, I can go on. There's plenty of people that I know that I would
Yeah.
love to say they're doing this. It doesn't matter about their image because so many times people get caught up in music and say, "Well, they're speaking gangster." Da, da, da." Music is music. It's entertainment.
Yeah.
The stuff that they do for the city behind closed doors is what really matters.
Yeah,
It's what
exactly.
really matters.
No, it's been good to see. I'm in a couple groups on Facebook that are involved with Stilton and stuff like that, and I see all the community service. And one of the biggest things that's been sticking out to me a lot lately was the football program at Still High. Ever since it's been taken over by Coach Irby, he personally took it upon himself to turn it around and have the team and have the school involved in the community. Like they'll have community service day where they go clean up shit or go help somebody cut grass or whatever the little stuff, man. It really helps out because
It does.
there's a lot of elderly that need help too, or homeless people, or like just taking care of what needs to be taken care of. And then it circles back around to this in a good way of pride. Like you gotta have a sense of pride in a good way. Like you gotta be like, yo, this is my town, this is my city. Like we gotta make sure that people
That's
want to
right.
come here because like you said, Harrisburg is the capital of PA. Nobody wants to come to Harrisburg. They rather go to Philly and Pittsburgh.
Yep.
They don't want to
I
come to
say it all the
Harrisburg.
time.
There's nothing here for real, for real. I
Yeah.
mean, because like it, but it's up and coming. So it definitely it's trending upwards. So
Right.
it's really good to see.
It's just the real issue is, to be honest, there's more knuckleheads, and negativity will always trump the positive.
Yeah.
Does not matter. Like negativity will make news bubble so much that news stations would just say, "Feed you negative."
Yep.
Here it go. You know, you go down your news feed, fights, arguments, this, that, this, that, and you get so caught up in it because sometimes it is entertaining. You know, coming from me, I can say it's entertaining, whether it's wrong or right. I'm
Right.
like, oh, I want to watch. You know, and you might take a laugh at it, but then that starts to subconsciously get into you. Like, this is negative. This is negative. You're not
Right.
really thinking about it, but it's just suppressed in there. Like, this is Harrisburg negative. But there's so much positive going on that we choose to not focus on, and Penn Live doesn't speak about, and these news outlets don't push out all the time,
Yep.
that everything that you see is just negative, negative, negative.
Yep. Exactly. But that's all. That comes down to political and corruption and stuff like that.
There you, a whole different
Yeah,
conversation.
that's a whole another conversation. We could have a whole podcast just on that shit.
That's right. You don't have to do that.
For sure. But yeah, man, you got any last questions, thoughts, or anything with us? Getting the
Not
inner city.
really, not really. You know, just Harrisburg. I could talk about it all day. You know, it's a place that I love. It's a place that I grew up at, and I have
Hmm.
so much respect for it, and I see it. I would just say my last thoughts would be to anybody who watches this. If you're somebody with a name in Harrisburg, make sure you're doing something good for your city. Just make sure you're doing something good for your city, because as we said, we know for the most part. I'm gonna say for the most part, because I will say this. Shout out to Ralph Rodriguez. He just won. I think it was city council. I don't really pay attention, but I've met him many of times. He's a really good guy, and hopefully we get more people like that. He's been in Harrisburg for most of his life, and he just got into somewhere where it matters,
Right.
where he can hopefully start to drive change. So hopefully people like that start to step up and either take place in government here in Harrisburg and Pennsylvania, or just us as a community can rise together and start to get us back on a positive track.
Right, yeah, no doubt. Yeah, my last thought too, to piggyback off of that, is we need to make our government younger, and we need to get into the government at a younger age. I know it's easier said than done, but it's definitely something that we're starting to see more of a trend on, because a lot of people are starting to care more, and they're like, man, like I'm tired of just sitting here not nothing changing because these old people don't want to make change happen. Let me get in there, let me make something happen, and then once a young person gets in there and they see it, they're like, oh shit, mate, let me be like him or let me support him. So like then the connections start to grow.
Right.
So I think
Right.
that'll be
Right.
huge once that starts to have more of a snowball effect. But
Completely agree.
yeah, man, that was struggle can definitely be real for anybody and everybody, no matter what. So everybody goes through it. But let's move on to our next segment here. This is a little bit more fun, I would say. We're gonna talk a little bit about like you going through becoming playing in the part of the esports community and then also being a
That's right.
content creator. So like when did you get into all this?
Oof, that's a real slippery slope, and we could build a whole podcast off of that too. But I'm gonna keep it short. So, how I originally started with content creation, period, was I'll probably say back in 2013, before it was even cool. Me and my boys at the time, we had a podcast. It was terrible, absolutely terrible. But the person that I am, I'm willing to try anything. So
Hmm.
we tried it. It didn't work out, but we had it up and running. Had a Twitter, everything. Started connecting. Okay, so move on a little bit. My boy's a rapper. My boy at the time, he raps. He's like, yo, you should shoot this music video for me. I picked up a camera, started to get into video production and video directing, and I then took that and then said, okay, I can connect the dots here. So not only am I a video director, I can now do graphic design. So I started doing front covers and mixtape covers and logos, as you know,
Hmm.
logos and all types of things. So I started to do that type of creation. So then, probably 2015, 2016, I said, okay, I can do gaming. I've always been a gamer. I've always taken it serious. I'm very competitive, and I feel like I'm entertaining enough to take this out there and put it in front of people. So I then tried to segue from video directing into gaming. So how did I get started with content creation and gaming? It started way back in 2013, from podcasting to directing to graphic design to where I'm at now. But I always feel like all of it's connected because it's all content creation in some way.
Right.
So I would say I started back in 2013 with content creating. As far as gaming, I would say 2016.
Okay. Okay. Is there like any like motivation or reasoning like to get into it, or was it just something like spur of the moment?
To be honest, I'm just ultra competitive, and in everything that I do, winning is my addiction. It's actually sickening how much I want to win, and I want to win in every facet of life. It does not matter. I want to literally beat whoever I am playing, and it's never like a disrespectful way. It's just I'm just ultra competitive. So
Right.
whether it's on a basketball court, well, my dream was to always become a basketball player, but then I realized my work ethic ain't really there. I don't want to practice. I don't want to lose all this weight. And it's the local guy in YMCA is crossing me over. I can't stick LeBron James. I give up. So I gave up on that. But I wanted to tell myself, okay, how can I be competitive in a way that I like? Because I don't like video directing. I just picked it up as a business. So I said, okay, I can be a gamer. That's starting to come up. And at the time, streaming was starting to bubble. Not even so much esports. Esports is starting to bubble now, and we can talk about how I got into esports. But gaming and putting content together, it started to bubble, and I saw it. So I wanted to hop in there as much as I can. And it's competitive. I want to be the best content creator possible. So I decided to hop in there. So I would say the reason why I do it is because it's competitive and it's just right up my alley. I love gaming.
Right, right. So how would you think your journey is so far, given the fact that you started, say, 2013, and not what are we at, 8 years later?
Yeah, about that. The growth is magnificent. You know, I remember in 2013, 2012, around that time, gaming was still looked at as like a geek thing. Like you were a geek. You
Oh, you
stay at
play
home all
games?
day and play video games. Like, come on, like you're
Yeah.
stupid. So to see that I didn't get laughed at personally, but to see that it was laughed at and as a joke,
Hmm.
to see now people are reaching out to me asking me how can they do it, it's the most amazing feeling ever. It really is because it's like I get hit up daily almost now. It's like, bro, can you tell me what to buy? How do you got your setup? How do you do it? So it's amazing to see. And, I saw somebody on Facebook. They said I'm like a pioneer here in Harrisburg because nobody was doing it. Like nobody really was, and it might have
Right.
been a thought process. You might have been like, I'm not the person who came up with the idea. Obviously, people have been creating content forever, but here in Harrisburg, it just wasn't like a thing. Like it
It
was so
still isn't.
foreign. It wasn't. No one ever thought about it. And I'd be naive to ever say I'm the first person to think about it, but I was the first person to really put action into it and show that you can
Right.
do something with it and make money. Because I've made money on Twitch, Facebook, Mixer, like you name it. I've put in the work to do it.
Right.
So I can't complain. After 8 years, I feel like I always look at myself and say, yes, I should have more of this and more of that, whatever. Just in my own thought process. But regardless, like I've treaded very great. I've only gone up, never gone down, no matter where I've been.
Right. No, yeah, that's awesome, man, to see that. And I feel like I've been a part of your journey probably for the last maybe 3 years, and even that smaller time frame, I've seen the growth exponentially. So it's been awesome to see that. But
I appreciate that. I
your
appreciate that.
for your products like and services, I should say, is do you still like produce or direct or create anything for other people at all? I mean,
I
other than my.
direct once, like very once in a while. I direct. I just kind of pick and choose. I'm not a people pleaser.
Hmm.
So with directing, it's tough because it's like I want this, I want that, I want that angle, I want this, I want that. And even with logo creation, I only want to work with people who are simple because it's like I need this, change that. And then some people come up to me and don't have an idea. I'm
Hmm.
like, well, what you think about this? Oh, I don't know. Just do something, and then I send it to you, and then I get, oh, I don't like that. I can't do that. Like
Right.
I wasted all this time. You didn't come to me with an idea.
Right.
You don't like it. What do you want me to do?
I must be the
So I would say,
exception.
as far as services, the only service I provide is entertainment.
Right.
That is it.
Right.
I
Yeah.
try to entertain. That is it.
No, yeah, okay, okay. Because like, honestly, I still be when people be asking about content and stuff like that. I always try to tag you in it. Even I don't know if you still want to do it or not, but I at least still try to throw your name into the hat. Maybe you'd
Listen,
be
my
like,
guy
all right,
Meech, he does the same exact stuff. I'm like, bro, be careful because I don't want to be a part of that.
Yeah, speaking of Meech, man, he just commented in the chat here because we're going to transition to our next part with the esports here. Is he wants to know what made you start a gaming team? Because he said he's coming from a newbie here.
Meech is crazy. Meech. That's a great question, and it's like the answer is so difficult. What made me want to start a gaming team? I Mish can tell you, I go in my brain every single like hour, every single minute, and I just started just coming up with random ideas. Honestly, it's absurd how many ideas I have in here, and sometimes I suppress it. So having a team was always there. I had a little fun fake team back in the day,
We
and
all
I never
did.
took it serious. It was fun, you
We
had
had
the
them
clans back
clans,
then.
right?
I was the clan, you know what I mean? Like it was so stupid. I had a website. That's what I'm saying. Like I had all this stuff before. It just wasn't serious.
Right.
And then one day I saw Meech. I actually saw him streaming. And you guys know me. I'm not a hater. I'm not gonna be like, wow, he's making content. Why are you trying to compete with me? No, I reached out to him. I said, yo, I see you doing this gaming stuff. You taking it serious. We should do something with this. He's like, I'm down. Shoot to Win came about. And then from there, I'm a worker. Got to work. Thought about logos. Thought about this. Thought about that. Put it together. Okay, let's go try to find a couple players. Okay, I got Meech, my biological brother. Shout out Daniel. Me, Meech, Daniel. Okay, we'll come together. We'll push it out and we'll try to get people. Next thing you know, my boy Fertz. He's from Boston. He hit me up from Boston. Yo, I want parts. New Jersey hit me up. Yo, and I'm like, wait, this is absurd. Like I could
Right.
really do this. Like this is serious. And then I was like, okay, this is a team creation. So
Right.
what made me want to come up with a team? The answer is like really nothing. I just go into my brain. I'm like, I'm going to try this. And if it works, it works. And if it doesn't, you'll never hear about it ever again. Never again.
No, yeah. I think subconsciously it was your competitiveness, man. Like you wanted to take your
Try
competitiveness and make it
something.
a team sport. You're just like, man, like I'm good at Call of Duty. He's good at Call of Duty. Fuck it, we all good at Call of Duty.
Let's
Let's go
do
fuck
it.
shit up. And then here you are, and then like, cause you your esports team, you guys participate in Call of Duty and Rocket League, right?
Yeah,
Those
for the most part. We try a little bit of everything, but those are the two games that
are,
finally worked out.
Meech wants to know what game you want to be successful at the most, I guess.
Meech, bro, you asked some crazy questions because you already know the answer. Is there not a game that I don't want to be successful at? You know what's funny thing about Rocket League? Not to go too off. The funny thing about Rocket League is that I hated the game. I hated it. But I'm so competitive that my boy Fertz told me because they wanted to take it serious and I wasn't taking it serious for the most part. He said, bro, you're not taking this game serious. Once you call me out on something, I'm going to prove
Oh,
you
that's
wrong.
it.
I don't care what it is.
Flip the
I don't.
switch.
You can say tomorrow, Jay, you suck at golf. I'm going to learn how to golf in a month, and I'm going to kill you with it. That's just who I am. So once he called me out, I said, okay, whatever. And it was the greatest call out of all time. Shout out to you, Fertz, because now we are very successful. We have people chatting about us. We have other Rocket League teams adding us to Discord, and they want to work with it. Like it's booming.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So the one game I want to be successful at is Call of Duty. I mean, excuse me, Rocket League, and secondly Call of Duty. But Rocket League is what I really want to be successful at. But the real answer is anything that I jump into, I want to be successful at.
Right. Yeah, that's awesome. I mean, like just having that natural competitiveness, man. Like you said, you can load up any game you want. Just like I want to be the best, and it's just like I get it. I'm in the same boat. It's just like I hate losing, bro. Like literally at work during my trainings, we was doing the cahoots, the little quizzes and shit. Bro, I had to win them
Yeah,
things. I had to win them, bro. I had to be quick as shit. I was just like, I ain't getting these wrong. I had to, yeah, fuck that.
I
I
gotta
ain't
get this
losing.
shit right.
Like even as little and petty as that
Yep.
competitiveness could be, I
Yep.
guess what I did it. I had to win. Had to win.
It's the killer instinct, man. Sometimes, like again, winning is a drug, bro, and that's the one drug I will get high on all day long. I don't care what it is. I want to win, and like not only do I want to win, depending on who you are, I'll say that I want to embarrass you. I just like depending on who you are, because there's some boys that I got that I would never really want to do that. Like
Hmm.
we can have a competitive, friendly match. I want to beat you, but I don't. But like prime example was that Rocket League game that I posted. We were up 7-1, and I did some crazy shot 8-1. I wanted to embarrass that team, and it's no disrespect. It's just my competitive nature. I have to kill your spirit. I'm sorry. If you're going against me, I have to show why I'm dominant. It's just something inside of me. something inside of me.
No, that's great. Yeah, I love it, man. Because then it translates not it takes you out of the gaming world to like professional and business. Like then you want to be successful and be the best business or
That's
whatever your
right.
career is too. So like it definitely carries on. But
Being a dad, I want to be the
oh
best
yeah,
dad,
exactly.
best husband.
Yeah, exactly. You got to be the best at everything.
All
Of
right.
course, I mean, got to be the best husband. Otherwise, you getting kicked to the curb. So. But chat wants to know like, is there a timetable to be successful in these games, or you just don't really care about that?
Nah, never, bro, never. I've been doing the esports thing for about 2, 3 years, and I don't look at numbers. I don't look at followers. I don't look at engagement. I just do it. We're just gonna keep putting out content. We're gonna put our head down, and it's worked. It's worked. You can make it happen faster if you have the right people around. I'm not saying that I don't have the right people around, but I know the people that I have around me are not professionals. I'm learning just as they're learning.
Right.
I can't expect Meech to be this social media master and I don't know how to do it. You know what I'm saying? If you hire those people, you can expedite things. But me, I'm a homer. The people around me will be successful. The people that are in and riding with me, they will learn as much as I learn, and we're gonna take this as fast as we can take it. And if that's on slow, I'm okay with that. Minimal gains equal big gains after a while.
Right.
So no, there's no timetable. I'm in it for 30 years. 30 years from now, if I'm still alive and kicking it at 50,
You
I'm
better
gonna
be
be
alive for
gaming.
30 years. Shit.
Yeah, I better, but I'm just saying, life take you all
No,
types of way.
yeah,
But I'm
yeah.
saying, 30 years from now, the plan is gaming, esports, all of that. You can never stop.
Right. So where can we find your team, your gaming page, anything your gaming stuff? Where can we
Well,
find it at?
we have two teams, obviously. This isn't about me, it's about my team. So let me think. We have Shoot to Win Gaming on Instagram, so S2W Gaming at Instagram. On Twitter, also S2W Gaming. And then we also have Star City Cougars. And that one's kind of tricky because I always forget because I got too many social medias to run, so please forgive me. But
I'll make
Star
sure to
City
plug them in.
Cougars is right.
I'll
Thank
get
you. I
them in.
appreciate it. Star City Cougars is only on Twitter, and that's Star City. I think it's just Star City Cougars at Star City Cougars. So those are the three main places you can find us.
Okay. And then you personally, like, where do you be streaming at for your like your game, for your entertainment?
For me personally, I am at Twitch at Jaydee Gaming underscore. Whoever has Jaydee Gaming without the underscore, you got to see me. Jaydee Gaming underscore. Sometimes on Facebook, but mostly 95% Twitch. On Facebook, it's just Jaydee Gaming.
Shout out to Meech here. He put it in the chat. He said it's Star City Rise.
Oh no, that's our hashtag. I
Oh,
appreciate that,
okay.
Meech. Yeah.
Gotcha.
That's our hashtag. You gotta get a little fun with it. That's our hashtag.
Okay, okay. That makes sense. But any last thoughts you want to cover on your esports content creation?
Not really. Shout out to Meech for being here, man. Meech is always showing up for me, so I super appreciate that. No matter what I got going on, bro makes time for me, and he's a rider. Shout
Yeah.
out to Meech. I appreciate everything you've done for the esports team, and we're gonna keep grinding and running it up.
Well, best believe he's coming on the show. Probably, I'm probably getting him in the next couple weeks here. So, hope he's
He
ready.
he a little shy. He gonna have to get that jitter out.
He'll be all right. He'll be all right. Even if he got to have a couple beers or something before we
Yeah,
go live, I don't care.
you might get
He'll
a
be all
different type of Meech. Then it might be ugly. I don't
right. That's all
know.
right. Shit, most of the time I'm drinking on the show, but I'm drinking my Sprite right now. I'm getting drunk tonight.
You're chilling. Yeah, right. Tonight is a different story. Uh-huh.
It's funny you say I'm chilling, but I'm Mr. Never chilling.
Never chilling, right?
I gotta chill today. I gotta chill a little bit.
Yeah, that's it.
But yeah, man, that was a fun segment right there. Like I said, I'm personally glad I was able to be a part of your journey so far, and I'm definitely ready to be a part of it more. Especially because once you said you're gonna get the website up and running, I want to be able to start writing articles for y'all and whatnot. So
Yeah,
of
super
course,
appreciate
I'll
it,
be
man.
running Call of
Appreciate
Duty
it.
with y'all. I'm terrible at
Of
Rocket
course.
League, so I'm not even going to even ask to be partake in them shits. I tried to play Rocket League. I was like, yeah, this is not for me. I'm gonna just stick it to the guns. But
That's how I felt too. Don't worry.
but let's get into the last segment here. We kind of touched a little bit on it, but being an entrepreneur though in 2021, like I feel like everybody's trying to be an entrepreneur now. So like getting into that market is hard. But you personally, do you have a business that you're looking to start up?
Official business? No.
No.
I don't have an LLC or a corporation or anything. But that's why I wanted to talk about entrepreneurship because it's so different now.
Hmm.
See, back in the day, you had to get those things to be considered a businessman or entrepreneur. Nowadays, if you have a little startup business in your house, you're an entrepreneur.
Hmm.
And that's something that I love about nowadays. I do think it's a very busy market. I'll put it as. I don't want to say oversaturated because that's a little, everybody has something to give.
Right.
But the problem is everybody thinks they're an entrepreneur nowadays, and that's not always true. And now entrepreneurship is always different for everybody. It's going to look different for everybody. But I feel like that term is being used loosely.
Right.
If you really feel it on the inside, I guess you are. But by definition, a lot of people aren't.
Right. Yeah.
Entrepreneurship is when you kind of dive in a little bit of everything. A lot of you guys just have like a startup company, and that's great. That's perfect. But you're not typically an entrepreneur. You're not technically an entrepreneur. You know what I'm saying? So
Guess you can look
for
at it
me,
either way.
entrepreneurship. But as I said, it's like a gray area for me
Yeah. Yeah.
because again, everybody has their own definition. For me, I always call myself an entrepreneur because I've done so many different businesses. I've
Hmm.
dabbled in content creation. I've dabbled in directing. I've dabbled in this, done that. So to me, entrepreneurship is it's a feeling. So I really can't say it's because you have a business. By definition, I guess you can say, your businesses.
Yeah.
But
But
for
if
me,
you
it's
start
more
up
of a
a business,
feeling.
you're an
If you
entrepreneur.
got to feel like an entrepreneur, you got to have it inside of you.
Yeah.
You got to have that drive, that it factor, I guess.
Hmm. Yeah, for sure. I mean, without it, I mean, even personally, I went through business classes and they teach you how to be a entrepreneur more or less, and they just give you all the ropes and everything. But like you said, you could still be an entrepreneur without taking the legality route of creating, getting an LLC and all this other stuff. Like, if you're at home doing a craft business like my girlfriend does, like technically she's an entrepreneur. Like she goes out of her way that she does something that she loves, creates products and gets it out to people. Like, but like you like yeah, Meek Swiss chiming in here. He says that it's the motor, that motor that's behind you, man. Like you gotta have it because otherwise you just gonna stop and run out of gas, I guess, and you're just like, all right, cool, fuck it, I'm done with it. Like,
And see,
nah,
that sorry not to cut you off, but
no, you
that's
good.
why because I feel kind of bad by saying if you have a small business at home, you're not an entrepreneur. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is there's so many people who have that, but they don't have the drive.
Oh, right,
It's all
exactly.
about the drive. See, because you can sell one product and be an entrepreneur in my eyes if you're pushing yourself.
Right,
It's less about, and that's just my definition. For me, it's all about the inside, the drive, the motor. If you're pushing to be great and to, regardless if it's selling content or selling product, you're an entrepreneur in my eyes.
yeah, exactly. So, do you have any businesses now that you've started up that you consider it a
Again,
business that you
not
would say?
yeah, not legally,
No, I mean,
not
well, we just said it.
not
You don't.
LLC.
Yeah, you don't have to have the LLC to have a business,
Yeah,
but
right, right,
you
right.
got something that you have the motor to do, right? So, what is it?
Of course, and those two things are now esports, and that would be I would say three because I consider myself a brand: the Jaydee brand, the Shoot to Win brand, and the Star City Cougars brand. We are
Mm,
building those up to be some of the greatest, and even more than me. I want to build up my whole entire team's brands. Like even as single people, I tell Meech
right,
how to show himself and put himself out there and try to make his stream look better and things like that because it's important to build yourself up also.
right,
Obviously, I'm a team oriented guy and team is everything, but JD has to stick out too.
right.
So I try to make sure I put my team in a position to win also and make sure that they're being the best them.
Right. Meek Sweat here in the chat said people get caught up in their feelings for themselves when shit gets tough, and I 100% agree on that. And people just get like, we talked about it before when I had you on the gaming podcast, where people just expect the support too. Like, oh, you're my friend,
We
you're
did talk
supposed to
about that.
support me, and I still firmly believe that that's not true. Like, if your product or your services or whatever you're doing is not good, guess what? They're not going to support you. But if it's like top, like you're doing really good and it's really good quality product, the support is going to come. It's just going to come in. It's not. You're not going to have a billion people watching your videos off rip or buying your products off rip. Like it's just not going to happen.
And for anybody who thinks their friends have to support them, it's always nice to think that. Obviously, I would support my friends no matter what they do because that's who I am as a person. But I also realize because I've had this. I think everybody who has a business have had this thought to themselves. Obvi- if you ask me what I want my friends, all my friends to buy everything that I do and stop by all of my, obviously yes. The answer is yes. I would love all of my friends to do that, but I know in my head that's not required of them.
Right.
At the end of the day, you can support me in different ways. I don't need you to buy every single shirt. I don't need you to come to every single stream. As long as I see you putting in effort, you share my stuff once in a while. You hit me up privately and say, "Bro, you're doing a really good job." That's the type of support that is important too.
Yeah.
It goes so much farther than a dollar. It goes so much farther than like a share.
Right.
If you reach out to me privately and just say, "Bro, I'm proud of you," that's support. Thanks,
Yeah.
man. I appreciate
It's
that.
that
You know what I mean?
it's
I
because
thank you.
it helps out with that mentality, man. Like that boost. You're like, oh shit, like someone's realizing my work I'm putting in. Like obviously someone's
There it
enjoying
is.
it, and it's just my thinking is if I impact one person, I'm doing something right. That's it.
That's it. That
And
is
I
it.
agree
I
here with
say the same exact
Meech
thing.
Meech out here saying everything takes time. It sure does. Like, look, greatest example here is with the podcast talk show, just the Chill Zone brand in general. Because of course we have the Press
Hmm.
Start podcast and we have the talk show with Vic, and soon to be we have a couple more podcasts in the work too. It's all going to take time, and we're slowly growing. We're slowly getting a couple of viewers here and there. We're making changes to them as well. It's good, man. And a lot of people have been hitting me up and telling me like, "Yo, you're doing good." So it's just like you said, that little stuff, it goes a long way.
And I see we have some streamers. Like I know Meek streams, and obviously Meek streams. But if you're a content creator and you're a streamer, never focus on the numbers. I hate the number thing. Like even when I created for YouTube, I would get 5 to 10 views. I was excited as hell. I think the problem is, for real, I think the problem is we focus on that number too much.
Hmm.
Like, let me tell you something. You can have a million bums watching you and they don't help you. You can
Right.
have 5 views and that one view was P. Diddy.
Yeah.
It's all about who is watching you. Focus on just the content you make.
Right.
Put out all the content you can. Put out the best content you can make. Don't focus on numbers and oh my god, I got 20 followers. No one cares, man. You're the only person who cares about that, and you shouldn't. Put out the best content you can, and just rock out with it. Have fun. Have
Yeah.
fun.
Yeah, a couple more engagement here. Meek Sweat said it's all about consistency, and then of course
That's it.
Meech put in quotes. Rome was never built in a day. Like that's one of those ever
I'm looking
long
at it. Right.
lasting quotes, man. That quote is 100% right.
It's 100% right. That's right.
I mean, that took what hundreds of years to get to where it was, and then it took hundreds of years for it to collapse. So
And it's still one of the best
most,
places to visit.
I mean, the Roman Empire is still super influential to today with the
Yep.
government and stuff like that. So like, look at that. Like, if you leave your mark on history, you're going to have lasting effects. So like,
Always.
there's nothing to say that me and you, what we create playing games or podcasting and stuff like that, won't have a long lasting effect, even if it's on one person that carries it on to their family or something like that. Like,
Let me tell you
to me,
something.
that's
I've had somebody reach out to me, and this is not gaming related, but I had somebody reach out to me that I helped when I was a kid. He was getting abused at home, and I won't say any names, but he came to my house one night, and I took him in. I gave him clothes. I gave him whatever he needed, and made sure he got back to his crib safe. Right. So he came to the crib, gave him clothes. He hit me up probably 2 years ago, and this was like when I was 11, so it's like 20 years ago. About 18. Let's go 18. About 18 years ago. He hits me up 2 years ago and says, "Bro, I remember that day you gave me them clothes at your house. And I gotta say, you fucking changed my life and I appreciate it." And I was like, bro, I can die tomorrow. And like, I did that for somebody.
right, you change
There's
somebody's
people
life.
who never get a chance to do that. Like, never. Like,
Yeah.
never. And in the moment, it wasn't even like a thought process when I was 11, 12 that say, yeah, remember that, back you owe me. No, I just did it because it's just who I am, my
It's
character.
here.
And to
It's
figure out
here.
that 18 years later, it affected him, and now he got a family. He's not being abused anymore. It's a beautiful story. It's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, I
It's
mean, it is
great.
beautiful. That shit low key gave me some goosebumps. I'm like, shit. That's some touching shit right there. I'm about to shed a tear on the stream. No, but no, it is awesome, man, just to help out because you don't realize like the little shit that you can do for somebody really can have like the biggest impact ever. Puts a like circling back here at the entrepreneurship, like even then, like like do you think it's really hard to be an entrepreneur these days now in the year 2021 than it is say 5 years ago?
I would say it just depends where you're at. I would say if you are a content creator, because that's what we're going to stick with since I'm a content creator, If you're a content creator, this is the easiest time. I still think it's the easiest time, regardless. I'll go there. I think it's the easiest time, regardless, because of social media and the directions you can go with it. Social media didn't exist, you know, let's just say 15 years ago, 10. Like, the reality of it is, I was thinking about when I was in high school, Instagram came out, and it wasn't Instagram of today.
No.
It
We
was not. It literally in 10 years, Instagram transformed how we watch, how we think, how we look at content creators. Content creating wasn't a job. It wasn't a career. We made it into a career because these companies reach out to you and pay you to put their product out there. So I think it is so much easier nowadays to be an entrepreneur, even though there's more competition.
Mhm.
But if you have a really good product, even a small product, you can make money because of social media. And if you can bring the correct amount of awareness to it, you can sell and you could be successful. And you might not be a millionaire, but not everybody's meant to be that. Not everybody wants to be that. Some people
Right.
want to make an extra $20,000 a year, and they can be that. You're an entrepreneur.
Yeah, exactly. And you just mentioned about like the competitiveness. Like that's also always been a good thing because even look in the gaming community. Like why is 2K becoming stagnant? Why is Madden becoming stagnant? Why? Because there's no competition in the market because there can't be because of the licensing and stuff. Obviously, which is that's starting to
Hmm.
be readjusted again. But
Thank God.
if there's more like competition in the market, we're going to get better product because you're going to realize like, oh shit, our game isn't that good anymore. Like we need to innovate. We need to
Hit it right
revolutionize
on the head.
this. And I mean that's same across the board, even with content creating, because content creating is going to get to the point where, all right, cool, everybody's doing the same thing. Why is he better than this person?
Right.
He may be funny. He's good at the game. All right, well, so is he. How is he going to
That's right.
change the game? Why am I going to sit there and want to watch you?
And I also think a overlooked aspect of everything is networking. So many
Yeah.
people just hit go live. People should come flooding in. No, you got to network. You go meet other streamers. You go chill in their streams. You go say, hey, how can I help you? You might be a mod in their stream, and then people start to flood to your streams because you're helping them out. At the end of the day, everything in life is kind of like scratch my back and I scratch yours.
Hmm.
There's very little people that just want to help.
Right.
So you got to go out your way to help somebody else, and they'll give it back tenfold. It's all about networking and making real like you got to create something. You can't just stop by someone's stream and say, "Hey, I'm gonna leave." That's not really
No,
networking. You
no.
got to create something. You got to show up constantly, talk to people, interact, and I'm telling you, you see your numbers skyrocket. You just got to
Right.
network. It's about who you know, not what you know.
Right. I'm gonna circle back real quick, Meech, asked the question talking about the licensing that I brought up. To elaborate more on that, like for instance, baseball, MLB the Show has the exclusive rights to baseball making games, like an actual
Right.
simulation of the game, not the arcade shit that you can buy. RBI baseball, it's like more of like an arcade style game, so it's not going to be the actual simulation. Same thing with FIFA. FIFA is a different thing because they do still have PES, but PES is still not FIFA. You know what I mean? And it's the same thing with Madden. There's not another American football game out there. Granted, basketball might be the only one that has two games, but think about it. NBA Live has been
NBA
trashed
Live is terrible.
forever. Like since the PlayStation 2 days when you used to be able, the dunk contests were fun. Throw them off the screens and stuff like that. Like that was the only time live was good. I mean, so like hopefully we start to see more competition for sure.
Right, I agree.
But yeah, man. What are some steps you think people should take to become a successful entrepreneur in
Mm,
2021?
that's always rough too because hard work, I think, is inside of you. I don't know if you can learn to work hard. So that's something that you have to dig in and really do. So step one is really ask yourself, am I going to work hard? Because you're going to go to sleep late. You're going to have to wake up early. You're going to have to do things that make you feel uncomfortable to be successful in anything. So if you're not willing to work hard, just go ahead and work a 9 to 5 because it's while networking is important, it's also a dog eat dog world. And if I feel like you're less than me, yes, I'm willing to help, but you got to help yourself first. And if I
Right.
see that you're trying, I'm willing to lift anybody up. I've given everybody advice. Anybody who's ever reached out to me has gotten advice, whether you were like lesser than me, like known or less followers or more. You know, like I'm going to help, but I got to see the drive first. I'm not willing
Right.
to help somebody who is not going to take it as serious as I am because I'm going to give you some valuable information.
Right.
So I think step one is work hard. I think step two is just have that type of ambition. Aim as high as you can. Start little, but aim high. Don't focus on the biggest things. Obviously, everybody wants to be a millionaire. Ask yourself, how can you get there? What are the steps? And focus on the small steps. And between hard work and ambition, again, networking, just meeting different people. It's about who you know, not what you know. There's people who are scientists and they might be broke. The smartest people in the world might not be as successful as you because it's about who you know. So
Right.
network, work hard, and make sure you have a good ambition, and you should be somewhere. Somewhere. Again, not everybody's meant to be a millionaire. You
Right.
might be making 30,000 dollars a year, but the focus is being happy. So if you're
Yeah.
doing what you love, you'll be happy. Never focus
And
on
then
the
it's no
money.
longer a job anymore.
Never.
If
Just a
you can,
career, and you're having fun
not
with it.
even, it's like more of like a hobby that you get paid for. That's the
Or
way I would
that's
look at
it.
it. I like to look at
Yeah.
it like that. But yeah, just going
Yeah.
off what you're saying, I think self discovery is huge. Realizing what you're gonna really enjoy and what really drives you. Figure that out first before you even start doing something. Because like you're just like maybe you're like, oh, I like to play games sometimes. Maybe I should try and stream sometimes. And
Hmm.
then you're just like, well, then you don't have any drive to do it. You're just like, oh, I kind of like it. It may be fun at the time when you're doing it, but you don't have the drive to do it. And then you realize, oh man, I really love writing this book. I really like writing books. Oh man, and I can't stop writing. That's your drive. That's something that you really like to do. Chase
That's
after
right.
that goal. Start writing books. Start publishing. Start making your networks because like you said, it's not about what you know, it's who you know at that point because you got to be able to publish your book to the right publisher. Maybe you know someone at a publisher and like, yo,
Yep.
see if you can get my book reviewed and stuff like that. And I mean, I'm just using this book writing as an example, but that works with anything in life for sure.
And I would say this, like a prime example is me with video directing. I never loved it. I had a quick drive for it. It was about the money. That's why I always have like a unique idea about gaming or like a unique outlook on gaming and streaming. Because if you do it for the money, it's definitely not worth it. Because I've been there. I've said, damn man, I'm making a lot of money with this video stuff. I'm killing it. I'm gonna keep shooting. I'm shooting every week, just pumping out money, getting reinvesting into the business. And then one day I said, I don't love this shit.
Just
I
get
don't
tired of it.
love it. It's not fun. I don't want to sit down and edit this video and make it colorful and add all this stuff. And this shit boring now. I said, okay, I'm gonna try the gaming stuff, and I love it. And now it's never no issue. I love coming on stuff like this. I love streaming. I love showing my face and talking because I feel like that's my purpose. Don't overlook that either. Sometimes what you love is not your purpose. It's two
Right.
different things. You can do what you love, and you can be successful, but sometimes your purpose in life, you got to find that. And whatever that purpose is, you got to go after that sometimes. And you can turn it into what you love. Sometimes what you love got to sit on the side for a little bit.
Right.
Sometimes. And you can still be happy with your purpose. Because once you find your purpose in life, you got to be happy. So keep that in mind too. Not always what you love is your purpose. It's two different things.
I like
Like I
that.
don't think my purpose in life is to be a streamer. I don't. It's what I love. I think my purpose is in life is to inspire other people and do things like this.
Yeah.
So I stream to
Inspire.
motivate
Yeah.
and talk to people.
Yeah. You just found your way of enhancing your purpose and finding a way to make your purpose enjoyable. And
That's
and it,
right.
and it circles back to what I said, self discovery. Got to figure out what it is that you really enjoy and what you really want to do. Because without that,
Mm-hmm.
you just gonna go in blind. You're just gonna be like, yeah, I don't know what I want to do, and then you're just gonna be a lost
Do.
puppy
I'm just
walking
doing
around the
it.
earth.
Yep.
You're gonna be
Yep.
75 years old, and you're just like, yo, what did I do with my life?
And that's the worst. Self just looking back at everything and saying, "Wow, I could have did so much more." Do you know like you only have one life?
Yeah.
There's so many people who walk around here that think tomorrow I'm good, man. I'll do it tomorrow. I'll do it tomorrow. I'll do it tomorrow. Well, bruh, you could be gone in the next minute.
Right.
It's
Tomorrow
just
was never promised.
it's the uncomfortable truth of life. You're not coming back. And you think I'm going to spend my 70, 80, 90 years here walking this earth working for somebody who hates me? I encourage everybody who watches this to go out and do your own thing. And some people enjoy working the job. If you find a job that you love, it's rare. It's super rare. I understand that. But what I'm saying is do what you love. And if you love your job, okay, you're doing what you love. It's fine.
Fair
But
enough.
for most of us, 90% of us are not happy at our 9 to 5.
I don't know.
90% of us
I'm
hate our
enjoying it so
job.
far.
And if you hate it, make a change.
Yeah, new job so far, so I haven't had enough time to figure out if I love it or not. I'm enjoying it so far. I'm enjoying it so far, and trust me, them paychecks is looking really good.
Is that
So
good?
maybe I'm enjoying it so far because of the paychecks. I don't know.
Paycheck. Right.
Nah, for sure, man. But any last thoughts on being an entrepreneur before we close out the episode?
I would just say if you're thinking about being an entrepreneur, just remember everything takes time. Be in it for the long haul. Work hard. Put your head down. Never focus on the negative. People are going to say stuff about you. Your product is this, you're that. You have to put your head down. Be ready for all of that and never give up.
Yes,
Never
sir.
give up.
I second that, 100%, bro. But yeah, man, what a conversation we just had for the past 55 minutes. But it is time to wrap this up. Personally, want to take the time out again to thank you for coming on the show. It's always good to have you on all my content that I keep bringing you on, and definitely going to have you back on the Gaming Podcast. I'm going to start circling through and getting everybody back on. So I definitely want to thank you for coming back on.
I appreciate the invite. Thank you. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Yes, sir. And I want to give everybody who joined us today live today. It was good for the engagement. I love it. I love the support, man. And definitely want to shout out all the viewers later on YouTube. Though it's always great, man. Thanks for showing up and sharing the content. But Jaydee, where can we find you? We can plug your socials one more time.
Again, Instagram, JD Gaming underscore JAYDEE. And on Twitter, it is JAYDEE underscore 717 on Twitter. And on Facebook, just JD Gaming, JAYDEE. I always like to make sure I drill that into people's head because people put JD, like just regular
Yeah.
JD. No, I'm a little complicated. JAYDEE.
Of course, you got to stand out, man, because everybody would just do the
Right,
same
some.
JD. Nah, you can't do that. You got to
Right.
stand out. But me, check me out at Twitter, Mr. Never Chillin underscore Xbox xNever space chillin. Party up, play some games, hit me up. Facebook, Vic Brubacher. Questions, concerns, come on the show. Hit me up for sure. If you want to check these episodes out live, it is on my Twitch channel, twitch.tv/ Mr. Never Chillin. Or sometime I'm gonna try to get into streaming, but it's definitely not my passion. It's not my career. So definitely to circle back onto that topic. But again, check our other content out on the Chill Zone YouTube, podcasting services as well. Because we also got the Press Start podcast for the Gaming Podcast, so be on the lookout for those episodes. And I just want to thank everybody again. But until next time, peace.
Peace.